The Equestrian World Team went on the road with McTimoney animal chiropractor Nika Vorster to find out more about the work of equine therapists.
Equine therapy can really help keep a horse going, keep them strong, keep them supple, keep them flexible, and ultimately our main aim is to prevent injury. McTimoney is a holistic approach to treatment. It's originally started on humans and then adapted for animals. Essentially what we are doing as McTimoney practitioners is looking for symmetry throughout the body. If there's any imbalance within vertebra, which could then affect the nerves, then works the way down to lower parts of the body and can affect the movement. And it's the movement that the owners tend to identify as there's an issue or there's a problem. And that's usually when you get someone like a McTimoney chiropractor out.
Veterinary permission must be granted before therapists like Nika can work on an animal, and a full history is taken prior to treatment.
So after the record card is done, after we've had veterinary permission, again, this is a key point, we then move on to gait analysis. Standard walk and trot, so watch them walk away, walk back towards me, the same in trot. We then move on to palpation. That's where I put my hands on the horse's body, just palpate for any restrictions. Then I move on to the treatment. So through the gait analysis and confirming the palpation, she was dropped to the right-hand side, so I'm now going to adjust this right hip. Good girl. Good girl. Just doing a little bit of muscle work through her hamstrings, which I feel was just compensation from the restriction through her pelvis. Oh, that's a good response. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Okay. I'm quite fortunate because I managed to train not only in McTimoney but also soft tissue work, and I feel like both treatments complement each other quite well. After the treatment's done, I then move on to some aftercare. And again, for me, this is where I can feel like I bring up my unique approach to treating. Because I'm a rider myself, I can understand what exercises would really benefit the horse going forward.
Over the years, Nika has built a strong client base across the UK and Ireland, meaning that she's constantly on the move.
So that's probably the only downside to this job, which is not a bad downside, is the driving. But what we tend to do, or what I tend to do, is get people in the same area so that I'm in the same area for a day or two without traveling too much. This is an 11-year-old PRE, imported from Spain about 5 years ago. The minute he came over, really, the owner wasn't happy, and he was actually diagnosed with a right hind suspensory issue. This was, again, like I say, diagnosed by the vet. He's been in rehab now since that. He had a really good year last year where the combination of correct groundwork, in-hand training at home, specific exercises, along with regular checkups from the vet and myself to just keep his upper body realigned and in symmetry, really. The good thing about my treatment is that I can adjust it and tailor it to suit the horse and their misalignments. If I see this horse on a regular basis, I know the case history, I know what I'm coming to do. No horse is completely symmetrical, just like the humans are. So I know I'm going to come back and find the weak area, adjust my treatment to suit that horse, and work from there.
This isn't the first time we've seen Nika on our screens. We first met her back in 2017 when she was volunteering in Cuba for an animal welfare charity.
I was very fortunate to go out with Equine and do some work with Help the Cuban Horses. It's a fantastic charity. They go out once a year, and it's just such a rewarding job because they don't have the care and facilities that we have here. The equipment, they have no medical aid for the horses at all. So anything that we can do to help is just rewarding. We went over, I think it was a couple of years ago, and some of the cases you see, it is quite an eye-opener and makes us realise how fortunate the horses and the level of veterinary care we have in this country.
Alongside the physical examination and remedial work, Nika likes to assess the horse's movement whilst completing groundwork.
Groundwork is so essential, and not necessarily just lunging, but any in-hand work. Doesn't have to have any vices on either. Is so important. The main aim for groundwork we're looking for is core strength. Nowadays, there's a lot of horses being diagnosed with things like kissing spines, and I feel like for us to change all these common conditions, that we need to really look back to the basics and what people are doing on a daily basis at home. Another thing with lunging is you can't do enough transitions, even on board, but especially with your lunging. With pole work, you can vary it so much. We can add raised poles, we can add poles to different areas of the arena. Ah, that's better. Good boy. Ah, look at that. You see that? Yeah? Good boy. Now rest and reward. So what we got there was the height, the activity, and a bit of suspension in the trot, which, for him to do that, is showing me that his core is engaged and he is supporting himself behind, which I've never seen him do a trot like that.
It's that actually.
So that's still holding.
Good.
All the work we're doing is... Yeah. Hey, all the work we're doing, boy. Good boy. Okay, let's go in. You can't force a horse to enjoy something. You can't tell them how to feel. So it is all by their behavioural and their signs. And to me, when you get those little behavioural signs that you've got the right spot, it's a great feeling. Each case is different. They're all unique. And I suppose the really rewarding cases are the ones where, you know, the owner says, oh, there's no hope, you're the last person, then come together with all the other paraprofessionals and work towards getting this horse back to optimal performance. And to me, that's fantastic.